Dude, we are a day away from the from the 2023 NBA draft, and after one of the most mind-boggling and confusing day of reports surrounding a trade, which was originally between the Celtics, Clippers, and Wizards, then became a deal that was supposed to be just between Boston and the Wizards, and then now at the brink of midnight, which is the deadline for Kristaps Porzingis to accept or decline his player option to either opt into a deal that would, eventually send him to the Celtics or decline and hit free agency. We finally have a deal, except I don't think anyone expected it to be what it ended up being. So for the full breakdown of this trade, the Celtics got Kristaps Porzingis, the 23rd pick in this year's draft, and a 2024 first-round pick from the Grizzlies, which I believe the pick originally belonged to the Warriors. And then the Wizards got Tyus Jones, and the Grizzlies, shockingly enough, I don't think a single human being expected this to happen, the Grizzlies got Marcus Smart. Now, the Celtics originally getting Kristaps Porzingis in what was supposed to be the deal, as I said before, which was Clippers, Celtics, Wizards, they were basically just giving up Malcolm Brogdon and I think Danilo Gallinari for Kristaps. That's a huge deal. Like that's an incredible deal for the Celtics. Kristaps isn't going to save their franchise, especially if they come out of the East and play a team like Denver in the finals. That's not going to save them, but it's a massive upgrade over anything they already had at his position. But now I'm really not sure how to feel about this. Like, from a pure basketball standpoint, this is a great trade for the Celtics. Marcus Smart is not worth Kristaps Porzingis alone, let alone the 2 first-round picks. But as a Boston Celtics, this isn't me saying I'm a Celtics fan, but if you're a Boston Celtics fan, Marcus Smart means a lot more than the assets in which they gave up for Kristaps. He is, for a lot of fans, Boston basketball. I mean, really, since 2014, Marcus Smart has given blood, sweat, and tears for the Boston Celtics organization. He's been there through some of the rougher patches, he's been there for their finals run, and no matter what the situation, he has given the most effort possible. This trade works well, incredibly well for the Celtics from just the most pure X's and O's basketball standpoint. But as a basketball fan, as someone who knows Celtics fans, and me personally, I like the Celtics a lot, I can't sit here and act like this deal from an emotional standpoint for both the players, because I can't imagine a world where the players are very happy about Marcus Smart not being on the team. But I digress. Kristaps Porzingis is a great player. He had a really good year last year. But you're only getting him on a 1-year deal in an offseason next year where you're going to have to probably re-sign Jaylen Brown for the Supermax. So now you're either going to have to cripple yourself financially to keep both Jaylen and Kristaps, or you're just getting him on a rental, in which the first deal I understood, if you're just planning on getting Kristaps for a rental, I totally understand that. Because you're just giving up Malcolm Brogdon and Gallinari, 2 players who Brogdon might not have been gone, but Gallinari, what purpose is he going to serve anymore for the Celtics? But now you're giving up Marcus Smart, the heart and soul of the Boston Celtics as a team, who was on contract till 2025, which it's a rather big contract for, even though Marcus Smart is a great player, you're giving that up for Kristaps. And obviously, Kristaps is probably the better player, especially last season, but like, they could have gotten this deal off without getting rid of Marcus Smart. Like, that's the thing that my mind can't comprehend, and other people I've talked to, is why include Marcus Smart. I get maybe his deal isn't the best for the team financially, but why would you trade away a contract that could hurt you in the future financially if Kristaps, if you plan on re-signing Kristaps, it's going to have the same effect. If anything, Kristaps is going to cost more than Marcus, because at the peak of Marcus Smart's contract, he's only making $21 million a year. Like, this is just so mind-boggling for me. And the picks, like, they are assets. Like the 23rd pick and a 2024 pick could get you something good, but is it worth trading Marcus Smart for? Marcus Smart's not a perfect player. I understand that, especially on offense, but like, he's the heart and soul of that team. Like, he has been Boston Celtics basketball for a while now. As for the Wizards, considering the context of you either trade Kristaps and get something, or let him go in free agency for nothing, getting Tyus Jones is a pretty good deal. Like, Tyus Jones has kind of proven a lot that he could maybe be that guy at point guard for a team, and there's not really a better situation for him to find that out than in Washington. Like, regardless of whether Kuzma re-signs or not, he's really going to be the only, like, very good player on that team. And I'm really excited to see how that turns out, because I've been a very big Tyus Jones advocate for a while now, and getting to see him potentially run his own team is going to be a big test for how the future of his career is going to pan out. Regardless, though, if he proves that he can't be that guy, he is always going to be one of, if not the best backup point guards in the NBA. I mean, per 36 is a very flawed number, but those numbers and numbers similar have kind of showed that he maybe can be that guy. We'll have to see. Again, just considering the context surrounding Kristaps' contract, not a bad return for Washington. For the Grizzlies, though, I mean, they just did a great job. Adding a player like Marcus Smart onto a Memphis Grizzlies team that just ranked third in defensive rating this season, an elite defensive team that just had the DPOY and Jaren Jackson, perfect fit. Going to be a great locker room guy for them. Going to fit very well when Ja Morant's out. Losing Tyus Jones sucks. He was a huge part for that team when Ja Morant was out. He might be better than Marcus Smart, but in terms of the kind of guy you want in your locker room, the defense he brings next to Jaren Jackson, there were very few better players the Grizzlies could have brought in than Marcus Smart, especially for the assets they gave up. Their first round picks, and with the way the NBA draft and talent is evolving, you want to have as many as you can, but for a player like Marcus in that system, it's more than worth getting rid of. All around, this is a very fair deal for all sides. The Wizards, with the context, they really weren't going to get much more than Tyus Jones, a player like Tyus Jones for Kristaps. Good on them for at least getting what could be a very good starting point guard for them for the future. The Celtics, from an emotional standpoint, I know a lot of Celtics fans who are devastated. Personally, from a pure basketball standpoint, they kind of fleeced. I love Marcus Smart, incredible player. Not only is Kristaps Porzingis a better player, but you could make the argument that at this point in his career, he's maybe not even worth the 2 first-round picks. It's just the emotional connection that Marcus Smart has with not only Celtics fans, but the players is what makes this deal so tough. For the last really almost 10 years now, which is insane to think about, Marcus Smart has been, for some fans, Boston basketball. He's been the heart and soul. He's been their hustle guy, a defensive player of the year. When you ask a lot of Boston Celtics fans like who their favorite player is, you're gonna be surprised by the amount of people who say Marcus Smart. That's how much he means to this team. It's very sad to see him go out the way he did. Personally, I wanted him to be a lifelong Celtic. I know many fans who feel the same way. It's unfortunate, but as many people will tell you, basketball is a business, and this was a business decision by the Celtics. Very unfortunate to see him go, but I think that this deal is probably going to work out very well for the Celtics in the end. But anyways, with the NBA draft, literally, as the time this will be uploaded tonight, the NBA is already getting crazy. There's been reports of maybe the Pelicans moving up to 2 or 3, trading Zion or Brandon Ingram, something I've touched on in articles. My mind can't comprehend all of the possible outcomes of trades or sign-in trades, whatever that could happen within the next 24 hours. It's going to be a crazy ride. That being said, though, probably going to call it here, but for some other news for the channel and just me in general, I'm going to be starting a podcast with my good buddy Noah Terranova. If you aren't already subscribed to him, go subscribe to that. It's called the Herzog Hoops Podcast. It's going to be me and him talking about basketball, a little bit of football, a little bit of baseball, other shenanigans in our life. Going to be a great time. I'm very excited to start that. Noah's been a very good friend of mine for a while now, and it's going to be it's going to be so much fun. I'm so excited to start this podcast. It's always been something I've wanted to do, and I'm very glad I get to do it with one of my better friends. But with that being said, hope you enjoyed the video. Comment below what other scenarios you think could play out in the draft, whether it's a trade, whether it's a surprise draft pick, like the Hornets maybe taking Brandon Miller over Scoot Henderson #2, which I'm not going to get crazy in depth. I think it's a terrible idea. Maybe that's something I'll hit on in a future video. But again, thank you for watching. I appreciate all of you who are still around. I know I've been incredibly inconsistent with my uploads. I'm going to try to get back to a normal basis. We'll have to see. Life has been busy. My job has been busy. But I'm very glad that I can call YouTube my home even when I'm not uploading at a consistent basis. So once again, I feel like this is the 5th time I'm saying this. Thank you so much for watching the video, and I'll see y'all in the next one.